Hello, and welcome to Japanese Craft Beer Reviews. Today we have a kind of special review. I'm here with Mark, and Mark and I are going to look at three beers from a brewery you may not have heard of. It's called Second Story Ale Works in Tokushima, Japan. Mark, if you do not know, Mark is the author of this wonderful book called Craft Beer in Japan, The Essential Guide. And this is an English version. There's also a Japanese version that's available from Mark. How can people order this?
Right Wave Media, or you can get it on Amazon as well, and or through the Japan Beer Times magazine.
Okay. So you might want to take a look at this book if you are interested in craft beer in Japan. It is, as it says, the essential guide to that. All right, and so today Mark and I are going to look at this brewery called Second Story Ale Works in Tokushima, which is in Shikoku in Japan. And this brewery started in 2018, and they began bottling from November of 2019. And the name Second Story refers to the location. The brewery is in the second story of a building. In fact, I think it's the in-laws building of the brewer. Is that right?
It's a farm building. It's on the in-laws, the brewer's in-laws farm.
Okay.
And it used to be a garage, actually.
I've always heard brewers say the cardinal rule of starting a brewery is don't put it on the second floor because it's so hot. Huh?
The fermenters are on the first floor.
Oh, they are. Okay, that's good.
It's on the second floor, so it works quite well by gravity,
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to wash down the floor up there and everything. Yeah, that's good. Okay, and Mark has been there, actually. Mark went there, and I'm going to let you, Mark, talk a little bit about the brewery and the brewer, in fact.
The brewery is a lovely little place. It's about 15 kilometers southwest of Tokushima City, really in a very countryside, rural environment, kind of hard to find. It's on the brewery is named Pat Brown. He's American, and his wife Yuki Brown. That's her family's farm. So her parents are still there farming, mostly sudachi, which is a kind of Japanese citrus fruit, which is very famous from that prefecture. And it's like a yuzu in a way. It's something that you use to put on food or put in drinks, but you don't really eat. More like a lemon or a lime. And they're farming this and various other fruits. And they decided to move back there and to take over one building to live in and take over another building to make into their second story ale works. And so it's a beautiful place, just very steep valley with a little river running through it and surrounded by fruit trees. They don't have an on-premise license. They open on weekends, and you can go and you can get pints of draft beer, or you can buy bottles, and you can sit by the river and drink it if the weather's nice. So you can drink there, but there's no indoor facilities. Pat's been living in Japan on and off since the early 90s. He came here, I think, as an English teacher, and then he worked through various other gigs. Yuki, he met while he was back in the States. She was a child psychologist, I think, or child therapist. And she was studying in the States, and that's when they met. And after having some kids back in Japan, they decided they wanted to let the kids spend some time living in the US so they would become fluent in English and understand American culture, like Native Americans, Native people. And they spent some time there. And while they were there, he took a brewer's course in Bend, Oregon.
Bend, Oregon.
So that's where he was already a home brewer for a while, but he polished his skills in Bend, and they came back and opened this brewery. So it's an interesting family-run business. Yeah. Very small. They've got a 500-liter brew kit, and they've got 6 fermenters, 500 to 1,000 liters. And I think I went there about a year ago, and it was during the pandemic, but they're mostly kegs and mostly people in the prefecture buying bottles. And they were doing quite well, not having to rely on a pub So that helped them through the pandemic, and they were selling pretty much everything they could brew, and already talking about the need for upcoming expansion, probably.
Wow.
You know.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, so really nice people in a really
Uh-huh.
beautiful farmhouse setting. So it's a lovely place to go. It'd be great if they had a little pub there, but
Yeah,
I don't think they have
eventually, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe.
In the future. Yeah. 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 I mean, right off the bat, started making some interesting beers. I think saisons. In fact, we both had their saison. What was it called? Oh, Farmhouse Americana and Japonica last
Right.
year. Those were exceptional beers.
Right, so those were from early 19. He brewed those in early 19 and
Right.
released them over a year later. So they were really
Yeah.
exceptional.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see a brewer that does that right off the bat instead of putting out a standard line of 2 or 3 beers for 5 years, but right away he started making interesting beers. Yeah, so
And they were good too.
they were exceptional. And one of them was one of my top beers of the year for sure. The Americana. Yeah.
Americana. Interesting about those is they were in the 750 ml bottles, right?
Right.
He had a lot of trouble selling them, and I think he actually still has some.
He has some on the website. They still have some Japonica for sale.
Just the one,
right? Yeah, but not the other one. Yeah.
It's hard to sell those big bottles in Japan. They're just not popular here.
Is that right? Oh, okay.
That's probably why he went to the smaller bottle this year.
This year is a smaller bottle. Yeah. In fact, one of the beers we will review in this series of videos is a farmhouse saison style. On Rate Beer, this brewery has 41 beers listed, and on Untapped, 61.
61. Wow.
Yeah, I assume some of them are duplicates, but in any case, and the average on Untapped was 3.75 out of 5 for all the beers, all the ratings. Yeah, pretty high. So, okay, so we're going to get into 3 beers from Second Story Ale Works now. Please hang on just for 1 second and we will get ready. And here's another beer we're going to look at today from Second Story Ale Works. And in our last review, we looked at a saison and a farmhouse style. This is another one. This is called Saint Yoshie. And it's a beer they've made before, but this one has cardamom added to it. So saison farmhouse, it's 5.5%. Rate Beer has no ratings whatsoever for it. Untapped lists 4 separate ratings, but there's no score as of yet. It contains laurel hops and green cardamom. So they've made the Yoshie before, Saint Yoshie, and they've also made a bigger one called Imperial Yoshie, which is a 9% saison. And as far as I know, this is the 3rd one in this line. And who is Yoshie, Mark? Who is Saint Yoshie?
She is Yuki Brown's grandmother.
Yuki Brown. Okay.
Worked in basically, I think, kind of ran the farm where the brewery is. I'm pretty sure she's passed on now. But she was thought of as a saint by everyone in the neighborhood because in the whole village she was just a lovely woman who was nice to everyone, and so he dedicated this series of beers now to her.
Okay, now she looks like.
First one I had was a ume saison. It used the Japanese plum that they use in plum wine and umeboshi pickled plums. That they've had that in there, and that's the first one I had.
Okay.
And that was quite good. So this one doesn't have plums, but it has cardamom. So
yeah,
I'm interested in that and figuring this out.
All right. If you check out their website, you'll see a number of their beers have people on them and on the labels, and they're all relatives of either the brewer or the manager or his wife. Okay, so yeah, 5.5%. And laurel hops, green cardamom, which I assume is what is cardamom used for? It's not a common thing. Chai.
I think it's all put in chai, curry. I don't think it's that popular in Japan, though, is it?
I've seen it in the market recently. Where the markets that have a lot of spices will have it. I
think it might be some kind of superfood to some people. I think that Some people might think that it helps as an antioxidant or something like that.
Okay.
I don't really pay attention to that kind of thing, but
Yeah. Okay, and we'll see. I mean, he added it as a kind of spice to this, and we'll see.
yeah, I don't know what to expect with that. It's kind of an interesting choice.
Yeah, I don't even know what cardamom tastes like. I mean, really. Well, you ready to open this up? Or
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay. Little cold steam coming up.
Oh, you can smell the cardamom right away.
Oh, okay, now I know what it. Yeah. Now. Yeah. Ah. Okay. So this is a very slightly hazy, very pale, almost maybe pastel yellow, and may not appear that way on the screen, but that's definitely the way it looks here. And quite effervescent, a lot of carbonation rising.
Yeah, it's very effervescent, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow, our colors are quite different. We have really different lighting in our rooms here.
Yeah, we certainly do. You have overhead lighting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a light right in front of me. Okay, so in the nose, yeah, we have cardamom, which kind of smells like you said, like something you might get in a curry. Something citrusy, kind of like lime or
Yeah, I think that's from the hops. There's definitely some citrus, some lemon or lime.
Lime blossom or something.
So there's wheat in here, and you definitely get that kind of creaminess from the wheat, I think.
Okay. Okay. Let's try out the. Okay. Cardamom in the flavor doesn't seem to be as strong as in the nose.
It's pretty well balanced, I think. It's not overwhelming at all.
No, it's not. The finish has something distinctive, though.
It's almost like a vanilla,
Okay.
a little bit.
Yeah. It's very lightly spicy. Yeah, it does really have a big change in the final, where you'd expect a kind of bittering hop hit. It's a little bit different. As Mark said, something like vanilla.
It's very creamy, isn't it? Like the finish, especially, is quite creamy and not really bitter.
Yeah. It's quite different, quite distinct. I can't quite describe it.
It's pretty unique, isn't it?
Yeah.
I like it. It doesn't blow me away, but it's
No, it's pleasant. The last one we had, the saison 21, was kind of very high power, much more full featured. This is gentler. And I don't know if I've had a beer with cardamom in it before.
Yeah, I don't know if I have either. Not this pronounced, that's for sure.
Yeah. Really interesting finish. Very mild. It has the kind of finish I expect to go metallic, but it doesn't. It's
I think that the spice is working well with the saison yeast, which is already kind of spicy. It just takes it up a notch without being overdone.
Yeah. Okay.
And the lemony or lime type of hops also, I think it's a pretty interesting combination.
It is. Yeah.
Very subtle, very mild.
Very mild, yeah. Yeah. Very nice. I think this would be, pleasant, very pleasant table beer,
Yeah.
Yeah. Good job.
Not as big of a hitter as the Imperial Yoshie was, I suppose.
No, not at all. Not at all. Yeah, but as you can see, Yoshie is pretty versatile. She can do she can do many things. She can come with spice, or hit you with a blast of citrus. She can do quite a bit.
Can.
Yeah, very saintly stuff.
Hmm.
Okay, so what would you hazard a rating on this one?
About 3.7.
Yeah, I would say maybe around 3.6. Yeah, for me, very pleasant. Like you say, would go well with some, with food maybe. Yeah, very pleasant, kind of a easy drinker.
Yeah, nothing wrong with it. It's good, solid.
Mm-hmm. Interesting with the cardamom, and it's a kind of a new experience for both of us, I think, to have this. Yeah. Once again, this is called Second Story Ale Works Saint Yoshie with cardamom, 5.5% saison farmhouse style beer. Again, you can go online and order beers from Second Story if you live in Japan, and if you happen to be going through Tokushima, look it up and go pay them a visit. Okay, well, that's it for today, and we're going to move on to one more beer from Second Story Ale Works, and I hope you tune in for that. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.